2020 was a year that brought challenge and adversity. With the impact of a global pandemic, justice reform advocates found ways to adapt and continue efforts to change Michigan's criminal punishment system. The Michigan Collaborative to End Mass Incarceration, known as MI-CEMI, worked to be nimble and responsive to these emerging challenges. MI-CEMI continued its dedication to supporting the work of its member organizations, which has come with many struggles and yet great success. In April of 2019, Governor Gretchen Whitmer announced the creation of the Michigan Joint Task Force on Jail and Pretrial Incarceration, which included two of MI-CEMI's member organizations, the Detroit Justice Center and Advocacy, Reentry, Resources, and Outreach, also known as ARROW. The task force acted in an advisory capacity with the goal of developing ambitious, innovative, and thorough recommendations for changes in state law, policy, and appropriations to expand alternatives to jail, safely reduce jail admissions and length of stay, and improve the efficiency and effectiveness of Michigan's justice systems. Recent legislation makes Michigan a national leader in helping residents more easily set aside criminal records and get a clean slate. The new laws make automatic expungements or set-asides for certain offenses. However, for some offenses, parties will need to apply for a set-aside. While these new laws took effect on April 11, 2021, court and law enforcement authorities were allowed 2 years to secure funding and coordinate plans to allow for automatic expungement of some offenses. MI-CEMI steering team member organizations Safe and Just Michigan and Nation Outside led efforts to support the passage of clean slate legislation, which has notably provided for 1. Creating an automatic process for setting aside eligible misdemeanors after 7 years and eligible non-assaultive felonies after 10 years. Should be noted that this will not be implemented until April 2023. Number 2, expanding the number and revising the types of felonies and misdemeanors eligible to be set aside by application. Number 3, treating multiple felonies or misdemeanor offenses arising from the same transaction as a single felony or misdemeanor conviction, provided the offenses happened within 24 hours of one another and are not assaultive crimes or involve possession or use of a dangerous weapon, or is a crime that carries a penalty of 10 or more years in prison. Number 4, allowing a person to petition to set aside one or more marijuana offenses if the offense would not have been a crime if committed after the use of recreational marijuana by adults became legal in the state. MI-CEMI steering team member organization, the Michigan Center for Youth Justice, led efforts to encourage Michigan's legislature to pass Clean Slate for Kids. Governor Whitmer signed the bipartisan Clean Slate for Kids package, which aims to ensure a fresh start for youth exiting the juvenile justice system. Clean Slate for Kids reforms Michigan's juvenile criminal justice laws to seal juvenile court records from public view and create a process to automatically expunge juvenile records for those who don't commit future offenses. Following the death of 16-year-old Cornelius Frederick and the subsequent investigation into residential placement facilities, MI-CEMI steering team member organization, the Michigan Center for Youth Justice, has joined the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services along with several other organizations to improve policies and procedures pertaining to youth safety in residential facilities. Leading up to the 2020 presidential election, various MI-CEMI member organizations along with other partner organizations formed the Voting Access for All Coalition, also known as VAC. VAC led advocacy efforts to inform and educate people held pretrial in county jails that they had the constitutional right to vote and that protocols should be put in place within jails that allow them to exercise their right to vote. VAC's in-person outreach efforts sought to engage communities in various areas across the state, including Detroit, Highland Park, and Pontiac. MI-CEMI member organization League of Women Voters and steering team member MI-CURE were also instrumental in voting rights education and distribution of nonpartisan voting guides throughout the state. MI-CEMI steering team member organization Nation Outside was responsible for registering 750 people to vote in Genesee County, 560 of which were held in the Genesee County Jail. Nation Outside Regional Coordinator Janelle Allen Bay was deputized by the Genesee County Sheriff's Office, which allowed him access to the jail to register eligible voters and to deliver completed absentee ballots on Election Day from the jail to the clerk's office. The Michigan Collaborative to End Mass Incarceration's work around prosecutorial reform allowed them to identify counties with contested prosecutor races in 2020. MI-CEMI members connected with local groups in each county to assist with public education. The focus was on the critical role prosecutors played in contributing to mass incarceration and the importance of demanding that candidates publicly support criminal legal reforms. Both Washtenaw and Oakland County elected new prosecutors who made a public commitment to reforms in their county's juvenile and adult systems. MI-CEMI steering team member organizations ACLU, MI-CURE, and Safe and Just Michigan led efforts opposing the revised Michigan Sex Offender Registry Act legislation as it kept many of the unconstitutional provisions in place. Though this unconstitutional legislation was passed during lame duck, it also removed the residency, work, and loiter restrictions that kept many people on the registry from securing housing and employment. Advocacy efforts to get people currently incarcerated prioritized for the COVID-19 vaccine has also seen success. The Michigan Department of Health and Human Services has revised its COVID-19 vaccination guidelines to now explicitly state that people that are incarcerated are eligible for vaccination starting immediately. Additionally, MDHHS has committed to weekly updates available on the state's COVID-19 vaccine dashboard using vaccination data provided to them by the Michigan Department of Corrections. The MDLC has reported that as of date, they have offered the vaccination to all persons 50 years of age and above, regardless of health status. And while 8,529 people have refused the vaccine, roughly 25% of the prison population, another 25% of the entire prison population, 8,247 people, have been fully vaccinated. Another 36% of the prison population, 11,748 people, has been given the first dose. This means that when the second dose is administered, over 60% of the prison population will have been fully vaccinated. MI-CEMI steering team member organization Nation Outside, in collaboration with the Genesee County Sheriff's Office, created a vaccination program to make the Johnson & Johnson vaccine available to everyone held at the Genesee County Jail. The Michigan Collaborative to End Mass Incarceration is thankful for all the hard work that its member organizations and individual members have done to reform Michigan's justice system over the past year, and we look forward to the work to come. Thank you.